So there are issues with archive.org.
Okay. Now, there was an official statement made on the 16th, so 2 days ago. Dear patron, on Tuesday, October 8th, the Internet Archive began experiencing a multi-approach cyber attack across several fronts, which interrupted access to our digital library. Our main priority is keeping our archive data safe, though at the expense of service availability. As a result, we took archive.org and openlibrary.org offline over the past few days to examine and strengthen our services. Wayback Machine is now back online in a read-only view, and our blog and Mastodon have returned. We are increasing security measures and conducting additional checks on our infrastructure to ensure our archives remain secure. An attack on our resources is not just an attack on the Internet Archive, but a blow to millions of digital learners worldwide who depend on our services. We are committed to strengthening our defenses and constantly improving our security. We apologize for the impact this caused on you, our valued users. Support of our community is deeply appreciated, and your generosity and assistance can help us during this time. Please consider donating to support continued access to knowledge for all who seek it. We understand if you cannot contribute, but any assistance is greatly appreciated. Thanks, the Internet Archive. So yeah.
So the news story I read said it was something about pro-Palestinian hackers. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what I read.
Why would pro-Palestinians have anything to do with the archive.org?
I just searched for Internet Archive under, there's a news tab under DuckDuckGo. So I went to news, and it says...
That might have been one of those AI stories.
Let me see if I can... It's from... Oh, yeah, I don't know what this site is, so okay, never mind. I'm not going to trust that then.
Let me see what Washington Post. They had a good
I'm looking at the article from the Washington Post right now. I'm looking to see if they're saying someone's...
They have a pretty good write-up.
Taking responsibility, yeah.
You check The Verge.
Hackers.
Last week, the DDoS attack resumed, but things escalated quickly.
I can't believe that the DDoS has not been something we've figured out a way to solve at this point.
It said they leaked
Supposedly
information
Cloudflare's
millions of users and defaced the site with a message taunting the nonprofit's website for running on a shoestring budget.
Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Yeah. They were saying that their defenses were pretty weak.
Hacking group on X claimed responsibility for the DDoS attack.
Maybe the political part is that's the... Again, I'm not going to say it until I read it somewhere.
Government actors.
Yeah.
I think it was probably paid for by the people who don't want the archive around because they want to DRM everything.
That was my first thought too. Exactly, there could be so many different, intellectual property holders or somebody like that, but very peripheral,
That's my best guess, because otherwise, what else are they getting from there?
I just see it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me because it's all the Internet Archive really does is help people in almost every way. I mean, yes, there are certainly people who...
Do they store PayPal information or credit card information or something?
They said it was patron specifically information.
Patreon? Or is it?
No, just patron. So the exposure of patron email addresses and encrypted passwords.
Anybody actually use their own...
Like a login for the Internet Archive?
Oh.
Is that what you mean?
Does anybody use their own information on that? I mean...
No, the Lugcast has its own information.
Exactly.
I mean, if it comes back up, I'll probably go over and change it because it's been the same one since we initially started. But I mean,
So something that's happened to my family recently is my wife's business was I don't what do you call it, impersonated, I guess. Like they opened a bunch of accounts in her business name, and it's not her personal credit because that's all frozen, and I checked it and like there's no inquiries or anything like that, so it's just her personal. And I mean, the information to do that is readily available, you know, so they do have her personal information in terms of her like name, address, and social and all that stuff, just because, you know, that stuff's just out there for anyone to find at this point, you know, the highest bidder. And so she was kind of freaked out about it. I mean, fortunately the banks, you know, she was able to contact them and just say, look, it's not me. And it's amazing how, I guess, nonchalant they are about it at this point. Like it's just a fact of doing business that they just have to deal with this kind of fraud. It's a little weird that they would make it so easy for you to open an account, but I guess that's, you know, if they're onboarding a customer, they kind of have to make it as easy as possible, you know, as low friction as possible. And then I guess the way to deal with it is then if someone, I mean, how she found out was she got a letter with like a debit card. It's just like,
This is part of the Internet Archive deal, or what?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying this is like, for you were saying people's names and like changing passwords, and it just made me think of the fact that like all of our information, we try so hard, you know, to use complex passwords and two-factor authentication and like all these different methods to try to keep things safe. And like even if you don't share anything online, it just feels like it's an impossible battle.
The information that is out there is enough for things to happen. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That was my point. It was just, but the thing I don't understand is I just feel like Internet Archive is kind of like an altruistic thing. I mean, they're doing
not like they're
good
making
work.
a crap ton of money there.
Well, and if the excuse is, oh, haha, you have weak security because you have a shoestring budget, like what?
But looking at their blog post from today, that was posted today, it says, as a library community, we are seeing other cyber attacks. For instance, the British Library, the Seattle Public Library, Toronto Public Library, and now the Calgary Public Library. They say, we hope these attacks are not indicative of a trend. So who goes out of their way to attack a freaking library?
Those digital media rights holders, I'm telling you.
Monsters.